Assembly. We'll begin this morning with an invocation offered by Anna Leiter-Lease, a member of the class of 1956. Can I ask everyone to please rise?
Let us unite our hearts in prayer. God of all time and all people, we give you thanks for this college community, for the memories of past days here, and for our present time of sharing with old friends and new. To you, we offer our gratitude for the nurturing and the growing of our college experience, for professors and mentors who open doors to new possibilities, and for the challenges that enabled us to grow in new ways. And we give you thanks, most gracious God, for the students who receive those challenges and use their energy to promote a better world, and for students and alumni who continue to make positive changes and contributions to our society. May your spirit continue to inspire and challenge us to use our energy for the well-being of all people, that persons throughout the world, both near and far, may come to live in your peace and shalom. To you, we offer our prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Matt. Isn't it great to be back on campus? Might look a little bit different, but I hope that you have the same warm feelings that I do every time I return. This weekend's all about warm feelings and connections, reconnecting with those friends, remembering those good times, sharing our lives since the time we've left. And for me, since it's not my class reunion, it's always about making new friends. I always make new friends from different classes. Before we get started with the heart of our program today, I'd like to acknowledge many of the Juniata staff members who work hard to make this weekend a success. First, I'd like to acknowledge all the behind-the-scenes work of the Alumni Office staff that goes into this weekend and many other events through the course of the year. Those Alumni Office folks include Evelyn Pembroke, Bob Parker, David Meadows, Christy Gibney, and Don McLean. We thank the entire college advancement team for their support this weekend. I would also like to recognize all those reunion committee members and alumni weekend volunteers who have put in the countless hours to make your weekend a special event for your class reunion. We thank the class fund agents who continually work to support Juniata. And last but not least, my fellow members of the Alumni Council who work tirelessly to implement a successful year of volunteer programming. This weekend celebrates alumni, but each year there's a special class year that return to join together for their reunion. I'd now like to briefly recognize each reunion class. First, the Emeriti group is comprised of special alumni who have graduated 51 years or more ago. We're proud to recognize this group as they return to campus for a visit each spring. The Emeriti in attendance, I'd like you to please stand to be recognized. Any Emeriti more than 51 years? I hope I look that good. The Emeriti Reunion Committee members are Janet Halton-Lutz from the class of 1944, Janet Claycomb Bardorf from the class of 1955, and from the class of 1939, Bob and Emmy Wentzler Hoover Harris. Can you give these people a round of applause for them? As is our tradition, each class gives a cheer, and I wondered if the Emeriti had a cheer to give us this morning. No inspiration at 2 o'clock in the morning last night.
2, 4, 6, 8. We are here to celebrate. We're the class of 52. We'll spend the rest of the day with you.
Well, celebrating their 50th reunion this weekend is the class of 1956. The reunion committee members are Barb Finnessy Albright, Neil Albright, Keith Birmingham, Larry Cape, Carmen Shiraka, Mimi Lehman Shiraka, John Criswell, Barry Drexler, Buddy Dowds, Nancy Rosenberger Faust, Bonnie Brumbaugh Freiters, Betty Beatty Golden, Jack Golden, Bill Graffius, Jim Hunt, Nan Heller Hunt, Catherine Kiefer, Bernie Orris, Don Pheasant, and Claire Sunderland. That's quite a group. Let's give them a round of applause. Last night at the all-class dinner, the members of the class of 1956 were our guests of honor. I'd like to ask the entire class of 1956 to stand, be recognized, and then share your cheer with us.
Class of 56 beats the rest.
I think they've thrown down the gauntlet. Next, I'd like to recognize other classes celebrating their reunions this weekend, and I'd like to hear their cheers as well. So, the class of 1961 celebrating 45 years. Can we hear your cheer? Please rise for us.
For a job well done, call the class of 61. Go Indians!
Okay, the class of 1966, please stand, celebrating 40 years.
66! 66! 66!
Now the class of 1971, celebrating 35 years. Can you stand and give us your cheer?
We're the class of '71. We're the class of '71.
Now the centennial class of 1976, celebrating 30 years.
We're the class of '76. We're up to our old tricks.
Celebrating their 25th reunion this weekend is the class of 1981. Can you please stand and be recognized and share your cheer with us?
81, 81.
81! 81!
Forever young.
Forever young!
Forever fun.
Forever fun!
81, 81.
81! 81!
In our togas, we will run.
We will run!
We'll be looking for those togas this evening. Class of 1986, celebrating 20 years.
Here, class of '86 is here.
Now celebrating 15 years, the class of 1991.
You got a singer?
I don't know the song.
Okay.
Sandwiches are beautiful, sandwiches are fun. I like sandwiches, I eat them all the time. I eat them for my supper and I eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once.
That was for the 280 members that are not here. That was kind of our Nick Spadea, class of '91, sang that song every year at all class nights. So that's
Very familiar to me as well. It's a pleasure having you all back on campus for this year's reunions. At this time, I'd like to extend a special welcome and present to Juniata College's president, Thomas R. Keppel Jr. Tom?
This is my 31st year in higher education. I've been at 3 great institutions, all liberal arts colleges. I've done consulting, and I've visited lots of institutions around the country. And I can tell you there's no better alumni council than the Juniata Alumni Council. They set goals, and they achieve those goals. And I'd like all the Alumni Council members, current and past, to stand up so we can recognize all of them. Based on what I saw last night and this morning, you're all having fun, which is the purpose of Alumni Weekend. I hope you have a great time here. There are a couple of times during the weekend which are more serious, and this is one of those more serious times where we celebrate the achievements of our fellow alumni. We have 5 persons here who we are celebrating today who are doing wonderful things in different areas of life, and I'm looking forward to hearing the stories, and I know you will as well. They join past winners of these awards, and they're really an inspiration to all of us who are here, our students, and all of you, and as we all go through our various stages of life. So I'm looking forward to hearing the stories. And congratulations to Aaron, to Ken, to Jody, to Mim, and to, who else? Randy, father of 2 Juniata, 1 Juniata graduate just recently, and current Juniata student. Again, congratulations to you, and thank you for bringing honor to Juniata as well. And so we'll get ready with the awards.
As Dr. Kemple mentioned, we do have 5 awards today to be given, and we'll start with the Alumni Achievement Award. The Alumni Achievement Award has been a yearly award since 1971. This honor is given to recognize a Juniata graduate who has distinguished himself or herself over a period of years and who has achieved a pinnacle position in his or her chosen profession. The recipient of the 2006 Alumni Achievement Award is Miriam Smith Wetzel, class of 1952. Lois Miller McDowell, retired elementary teacher and classmate of Miriam, will present the award. Lois, Miriam.
Mim, it is a personal pleasure to share in the events with you this morning, as it has been a joy to be your friend all these years. We've kept in touch, although living far apart. Your many interests and your abilities have showed up everywhere, as they did in college days. I remember the ham radio sitting in your dorm room, which you knew how to operate, and the ice skating pond we enjoyed one cold winter day, in fact more than one day, by flooding outside the women's gym. That was your idea. You worked for Dr. Homer Will, a legendary biology teacher, to help with college expenses. And I know you had an informal biology education that way. I remember your beautiful organ music, which you played here as accompanist to the college choir, church organist at Stone Church, and later you played the organ for our wedding. Not only that, you had worked at a flower shop, so you helped my bridesmaids and me make our bouquets for the wedding. And that was beautiful. The next year, following graduation, we heard, because we were living in Chicago then, that you played the organ as the talent segment part of the competition when you became Miss Pennsylvania. Then you married Lou, who I know encouraged you all the way, had 3 children, but you kept your strong interest in education. It led from directing your wonderful Blue Jeans band around Maine to graduate work, and finally a position at Harvard Medical School. It has been a remarkable journey. Let me read the citation. Whereas Miriam Smith Wetzel, a member of the class of 1952, has distinguished herself in her profession, and whereas, after earning a Bachelor of Science degree from Juniata, she continued her education with advanced degrees at the University of Maine and Harvard University, ultimately earning a PhD in 1987 from the University of Pennsylvania. And whereas she has dedicated her life in educating herself, her students, and teachers across the country and world, earning a PhD in 1987 from the University of Pennsylvania. And whereas she has dedicated her life to educating herself, her students, and teachers across the country and world, conveying her intense enthusiasm for learning. And whereas she has impacted the field of medical education by developing innovative approaches to teaching, such as the multi-station exercise, inverse cases, précis exercise, and the mini-case format, as well as by assisting in a significant change in medical education by helping to develop the new Harvard Medical School curriculum, New Pathways, in 1985. And whereas her expertise has been recognized through publication in numerous national journals and through invitations to present her work on the regional, national, and international levels, and whereas she has continued to educate others even after retirement, she is now working with a group of Harvard medical doctors to provide the best of internet health information for the public. She's currently teaching case writing at Harvard Medical School to a class of advanced German medical students from Ludwig Maximilians University in Munich. She's also currently working on a book of cases for Harvard Medical International, which compares health systems in the United States, Germany, Sweden, and Denmark. Whereas she has served her community in leadership roles within various organizations, including the board of directors of the Greater Philadelphia Childbirth Education Association, Sebago Long Lakes Chamber Music Festival Association, and the Molly Cockett chapter of Sweet Adelines. And whereas she gives back to her alma mater, having contributed to the college financially, helped to raise funds for the William J. von Liebig Center for Science, and served as the first female president of the Alumni Council. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this award is presented to her in recognition of lifetime achievements in her career and in community service. It is both an honor and a privilege to present Miriam Smith Wetzel with this citation of achievement by direction of the Alumni Council.
Thank you, Lois, Dr. Keppel, President Keppel, fellow alumni, friends, and family who are here. I deeply appreciate receiving this award. I appreciate being in the company of my other fellow awardees and being listed with the long line of distinguished Juniata alumni who have received this award. I'm not sure I really deserve it, but as President Keppel said at dinner last night, I'm an example of what can be done with a liberal arts education, going from graduating here as a music major and ending up retiring from Harvard Medical School faculty as an assistant professor of medicine. As former President John Stauffer once said, Juniata serves the bright young people from these Pennsylvania hills. I don't know about the bright part, but I do know that without Juniata, I don't think I ever would have gone far away from these beautiful Pennsylvania hills, and I still love to come back. However, I owe it to another Juniatian, Ruth Kramer Waters, class of 1939, who was my high school English teacher and headed me toward Juniata and toward Huntington. She took a personal interest in each of the 22 graduates in our graduating class, and she hustled me off for an interview with J. Lloyd Hartman, who was a longtime Juniata trustee who lived in Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. Since I planned to be a music major, he was taking nothing for granted, and he asked me to play something on the piano. And I played, I think, a piece called Hungary by Colling. It's a piece I still remember to this day. Well, evidently, the selection pleased Mr. Hartman, and he picked up the phone and called Harold Brumbaugh, who could get anybody into Juniata. There was just one problem. I did need to work to earn part of my expenses, and all the dining hall jobs were taken.
But HB came to the rescue again, and as Lois mentioned, he put us in touch with Dr. and Mrs. Will, and they hired me to work for 4 years in their home, and thereby became a memorable and important part of my Juniata experience. Now, I've been through a few other institutions of higher learning and garnered a few other letters behind my name, but I give Juniata credit for awakening in me a desire for lifelong learning. In our day, the motto was, education for living a life, not for earning a living. And the rigor of the classes here and the personal attention of the professors ensured that those were not empty words. Remember, we were students who took comps, both written and oral.
Amen.
It was not all seriousness in those days, however. And as Lois mentioned, we had a few pranks. I remember that on the Oler Hall stage, now the Rosenberger Auditorium stage, I jumped out of a box as part of a class night skit clad only in a bathing suit. That was pretty risky in those days. And also, there was the ice break episode where we put 15,000 gallons of water on the tennis courts without asking permission of all the rest of the court. And we got in a little trouble for that, or me particularly. But the ice skating was so great for 2 weeks, and the students enjoyed it so much that people sort of decided to forget about that. In addition to the intellectual stimulation and the fun of college activities, the friendships made at a small college are priceless. And as an example, I would mention the round robin group that Lois and I have both been a member of since graduation. The last week on campus, we set up the rotation for a round robin letter, and that cycle has remained unbroken to this day. We have written over 1,000 letters. We have shared news of our careers, our marriages, our children, our grandchildren, and recently our retirements and our ailments. You would never find a more loyal and devoted group of friends. So I think we are really here to honor Juniata today. I think that it is really Juniata that certainly has been responsible for my intellectual development. It has nourished whatever talents I may have and has sustained these friendships through all these years. So let's really honor Juniata today.
Alumni Service Award has been a yearly award since 1971. This honors an alumnus or alumna who has volunteered his or her time unselfishly and enthusiastically for Juniata College. The spirit of volunteerism is especially important as the Alumni Association is challenging all alumni to give at least 5 hours of time to the college. The Harold B. Brumbaugh Alumni Service Award recipient is an exceptional model for all Juniata alumni to follow. The recipient of the 2006 Harold B. Brumbaugh Alumni Service Award is Jody Monger Gray, class of 1988. Dr. David Drews, the Juniata College Professor of Psychology Emeritus, will present the award. David, Jody.
As a professor, I've spent a fair amount of time wondering if the things that we do have any impact. As a psychologist, I know that I'm never going to get a very good answer. Jody's sparkling career suggests that somewhere along the road good things have happened. The fact that she has been so kind to Juniata suggests that she gives us some of the credit for that. I'm grateful for both her success and her loyalty. And I'm delighted to have a chance to be part of the ceremony and acknowledge it. Whereas Jody Monger Gray, a member of the class of 1998, has provided selfless and unwavering service and support to Juniata with contagious energy and loyalty. And whereas, after earning a Bachelor of Science degree from Juniata, she continued her education with graduate work, ultimately earning a PhD from Purdue University in 1994. And whereas, she has been active in the life of the college in a variety of volunteer roles, including Alumni Council member, sponsoring board member, student mentor for the Juniata College Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership, and host of alumni events for the DC Alumni Regional Club. And whereas, she has provided crucial leadership as Vice President, President, and immediate past President of the Alumni Council, revitalizing volunteerism at the college by creating and implementing the concept of asking all alumni to give 5 hours volunteer time each year. And whereas, she has acted as the voice of the Alumni Association and Alumni Council by serving as alumni trustee on Juniata's Board of Trustees. And whereas, she has served as the chair of the Juniata Fund, leading the way for the annual giving strategy to focus on student need-based scholarships. And whereas, she has significantly impacted communication with and among members of the Alumni Association by creating, publishing, and continually improving the Alumni News Group, which has touched thousands of alumni and friends during the past 8 years. And whereas, she has greatly enhanced the fundraising success of her alma mater as a faithful financial contributor to the Juniata Fund, the Hallbretter Center for the Performing Arts, the Juniata College Center for Entrepreneurial Leadership, 2 endowed scholarships, and by providing initial funding for the addition of an assistant director position in the Office of Alumni Relations. And whereas, she strives to live her life with the dedication, loyalty, and honesty that is the cornerstone of the Juniata experience. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Juniata Alumni Association acknowledges and appreciates all that she has done and continues to do for Juniata, and presents Jody Mondra Gray with this prestigious Harold B. Wilson Alumni Service Award by direction of the Alumni Council.
Difficult to stand there while they read it. Dr. Drews, we all have a professor that we can point to that we can say had a significant effect on our life, and he's that person for me. I'm stalling. I'm just really overwhelmed. I mean, it's really an honor to be here today and to be given this award by Dr. Drews. Really does mean a lot to me. And I've known about this for about at least 3 months, that I was going to be asked to stand up here today and say a few things. I'm supposed to write it down and send it in, and I couldn't. So I did it. I didn't, that wasn't on the list. Things I've done. And I think I spent a lot of time thinking about what I was going to say, and really I think what I'm going to tell you today is why I couldn't write it down. Get it in, all right. And I tracked it back to how did I end up standing here today? You know, I think that was really what I needed to talk about. And I tracked this back to, the May of 1988, when I was basically forced to leave a place that I truly loved. And I had made many friends who are still to this day like my sisters, and I had begun this journey of lifelong learning, and I had survived being pushed beyond the point where I thought I could do something. And as difficult as it was, I was very, very comfortable here. And President Neff took me aside to say goodbye, and I was telling him I didn't want to leave, and he said, Jody, you need to go and find your place in the world. And so I took those words of wisdom from Bob Neff to really mean, go away to graduate school, see how other institutions treat their students, and then just keep coming back here as often as you like. It's going to be in your heart forever and ever. And so I think that was, once I got past understanding why I was here, then the next 2 points that came were a little bit easier And the second one is, how do you stand up here and accept an award for something that you really feel is a gift to be doing and to be part of all of your lives and the things that we do as a group. And I don't really feel like I'm doing the service. I feel like I'm getting more than I'm giving. And so that was a little bit difficult to figure out how to write down. Because I really do feel that all of us are part of this extended family. And I left here with my Juniata sisters, and now I have all of you. I mean, I can't tell you how many people came up to me this weekend and hugged me. And, we weren't here at the same time, but we have this common bond, and I thank all of you for being excited about the fact that I was, given this award. It just really means a lot to me. And then, not only do I have all of you, but then I have this honor of working with it has to be the most talented group of administration and staff anywhere in higher education. These are a group of people who are nowhere close to what I'm used to seeing in corporate America. I mean, they do more in the alumni office and the development office and the enrollment center than most of those folks do, before lunch. And they do it with a passion that all of us have to envy. It's not something that I take lightly, and I consider it to be an honor to be working with all of you and all of them. And then I think the third thing that was particularly overwhelming and what a sense of extreme honor I feel in this award is that it's named after H.P. Broombaugh. And I think a lot of us, if not all of us in this room, did know him. And just being the undisputed, never disputed Mr. Juniata, and somebody that we were now being given an award for in his name is just an amazing honor, and I think that was particularly overwhelming to me. Back in 2000, I was actually, several weeks after he had passed away, I was serving as the chair of the Awards and Nominations Committee, and it was one of those really obvious things that we put forward to rename the Alumni Service Award to be the Harold B. Broombaugh Service Award, and it was really an honor for me to see it be given to our Orville Dorr, class of 49, that first time. And just the sense of H.B. had recently passed away, and that you could feel his presence in the room. And I think I even feel that more strongly today, sitting here looking out at all of you in the Broombaugh Center. And I'm just so incredibly happy to be here, and I really appreciate all of you that came up to me and said that they really thought this was a good choice, because I think that I'm the one that has gotten more out of this experience that I'm certainly not anywhere near concluding. This is not the end. This is just a step along the way. And so that's kind of where I'm feeling right now, and how it was just entirely too difficult to get this written down and sent in by May 26th, which I now know was the deadline. I missed it. So I think, just in closing, just thank you very, very much for all of you and all of the things that you do for Juniata and in support of our institution that we all love. We get more value out of our community than I think anybody could possibly realize who isn't a member of our community. And then I'd also like to thank my parents who are here. They're the ones who led me by example to this path of dedication and loyalty, and ultimately they provided the gift of Juniata to me. Thank my husband Mark for standing beside me as an adopted Juniata. Word about it. And our daughter Emily, who is on Michelle Bartle's recruitment list for class of 2004. At least she should be. And I really thank all of you who I am thrilled to serve with now, and for those who I will be recruiting later at the picnic. So with that as an explanation, I accept this with great honor. Thank you very much.
everyone's going to be struggling with this microphone at some point. The Young Alumni Achievement Award was introduced in 2000. This honor is presented to an alumnus or alumna who has distinguished himself or herself in his or her chosen profession during the first 15 years following graduation from Juniata College. The recipient of the 2006 Young Alumni Achievement Award is Aaron Sheets, class of 1991. Dr. Ruth Reed, Juniata College Professor of Chemistry, will present the award.
If I can still speak in Alumni Hall, now that I'm moved over to the Bond Leaving Center, which is wonderful. I haven't had to teach in Alumni Hall for a while. I've known Erin since before she came to Juniata. Erin comes from Sagertown, Pennsylvania, and as my husband Tom Fisher always says, why did we get Erin instead of Sharon Stone? But I'm glad we got Erin. Knew it. I first met Erin at a scholarship interview for Juniata, and Erin didn't win that scholarship, but I remember Professor...
Still bitter about it.
Yes. The Simpson Scholarship, right. But I remember Professor Paul Heberling, whom many of you know who I'm talking about, turning to me and saying, that girl's going to go far. And he was right. She is. So without further ado, I'd like to nominate Erin for the Young Alumni Award. Whereas Erin Sheets, a member of the class of 1991, has distinguished herself in her profession after graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in chemistry, ultimately earning a PhD from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And whereas she has made significant contributions in membrane research, providing the first experimental proof linking nanoscale heterogeneities in membranes to specific biological functions, and whereas her expertise in biophysical science has led to numerous invited presentations and placements in publications, with her very first publication appearing in Science, which those of you in this field know that's a big deal. Whereas she received numerous awards, including the Charles N. Riley Graduate Fellowship at the University of North Carolina in 1991, and the National Research Service Award from the National Institutes of Health in 1997. And whereas she has proven herself to be a caring mentor, and of course this means a lot to me, a caring mentor and teacher in graduate and undergraduate students in the lab and in the classroom. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this award is presented to her in recognition of her career achievements and for representing the ideals of the Juniata community by striving for excellence in all of her endeavors. It is both an honor and a privilege to present Erin D. Sheets for this citation of achievement by direction of the Alumni Council.
So thank you very much, Ruth. I traveled all the way. As Ruth said, we go far, and so I'm coming from State College. But I would like to thank Ruth for her very kind remarks. President Keppel, faculty and staff, fellow alumni, class of 1991. I'm deeply honored and humbled to be this year's recipient of the Young Alumni Achievement Award. I'm particularly thankful to the Alumni Council for this recognition. The longer that I'm away from Juniata, the more I appreciate the excellent liberal arts education and training that I received here. We learned upstairs, although the odor of the chemistry lab has kind of dissipated. I'm kind of disappointed. But upstairs in the chem wing, we learned how to think deeply and critically about research, about our problems that we encountered in class, even though I never did homework problems, which Ruth always was on my back for. And how to defend our thoughts and our research in weekly meetings with faculty and students, which was somewhat painful at times when they would hammer you. But I think it was quite valuable. Most importantly, through these experiences, we learned how to communicate in both oral and written form, and these are valuable skills for any profession, but particularly in the academic world where publish and perish is the rule of the day. Now, from working with Dave Reingold, who unfortunately can't be here, Tom Fisher, who cannot be here, and Ruth Reed, among other faculty, as a result of these interactions, I first began to realize that I too was part of this scientific community and I could make a contribution. And I think that is a unique experience to small schools, but particularly Juniata. I think at larger universities, most students don't have that opportunity. And at Penn State, where I've been for the last 4 years, I've been putting these skills to use. My group uses approaches from biophysics, cell biology, biochemistry, as well as optics and nanotechnology to really understand how molecules interact with each other in living cells. And these interactions are really important to understand how cells function and have important implications for health and disease and our understanding of these. Further, my experience, my junior year, where I studied in West Germany for 10 months and 7 days, which was kind of a painful year because I only went with 2 semesters of German, which was, in hindsight, I shouldn't have believed Klaus Jaeger when he said, he was like, "Oh, Aaron, no problem." Anyway, I would call Juniata frequently. I would call Ruth because you could call Colette, and it was cheaper than calling my parents. And Ruth would just pass me around to like the secretary, all the faculty every week when I would call them, like, I can't talk. But as a result of this experience, it gave me a perspective on our role in the global society, and furthermore, it has given me deeper appreciation and perspective for what my own international graduate students go through as they progress to graduate school. It's a tough situation at times. And so together, these skills I've described, as well as experiences at Juniata, prepared me well for my career at Penn State, particularly with respect to teaching and mentoring in the lab and in the classroom. And I know my husband, Ahmed Heikel, who's a professor of bioengineering at Penn State, and I've really appreciated talking with Ruth and Tom, as well as Kim Richardson and others about education and how can we teach our students, how can we improve their learning, make them lifelong learners. And so we appreciate that. So while the landscape and buildings on campus are quite beautiful and beautiful renovations, and the beautiful science center, which certainly beats the Chem Wing, the former Chem Wing. Juniata's greatest asset are its people. Faculty, administration, and staff, students, lifelong friendships that of my fellow students that I made during my time graduate at Juniata. And to mention a few, in my case, Ruth Reed and Tom Fisher have really made a tremendous impact in my scientific family. And so to them, as well as to you all, I thank you for this wonderful honor.
In recognition of the service that so many Juniatans provide to the world around us, the Alumni Association added the William E. Swigert Jr. Alumni Humanitarian Award in 2001. This honor recognizes a Juniata alumnus or alumna who through vocation or avocation has exercised significant leadership through personal sacrifice and has improved the lives of others. The recipient of this year's William E. Swigert Jr. Humanitarian Award is Kenneth Van Antwerp, class of 1975. Adam Schaefer, class of 2005, and a longtime patient of Kenneth, will present the award. In addition, we would like to recognize Pat Swigert, who is in attendance today. Pat, the wife of late William Swigert Jr., who was a member of the class of 1937 and a great supporter of Juniata, generously contributed to sponsor a Juniata Alumni Humanitarian Award. Thank you for being with us today, Pat, and we're sure that William is smiling today.
I would first like to begin by thanking President Keppel, Pat Swigert, David Meadows, and the Alumni Association for giving me the honor of presenting Dr. Kenneth J. Van Antwerp with this award on their behalf. Ken has been practicing medicine in his local community for the last 23 years. This itself is a remarkable contribution and deserves recognition. He is my personal physician and friend, and for that I am very thankful. In addition to his family medical practice in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, Ken has led numerous medical mission teams to Haiti, where he provides compassionate medical care to the thousands of the poorest of the poor, in conditions that are unimaginable for most Americans. Even today, Ken is preparing for his next Haiti trip on June 22nd. Following the devastating tsunami in Indochina in December of 2004, Ken immediately traveled to Sri Lanka with a medical team where he lived among the people who were most severely affected by this catastrophe, where he provided additional medical care in that country. I am sure that he will tell you that his work here and abroad would not be possible without his faith in God and the support of his wife Nancy, who is also a Juniata alumnus and here with us today, his children Katie, Emily, and Thomas, and his church family. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, once said, "One person can make a difference, and every person must try." Ken, you have made a difference. And thank you very much for inspiring each of us to make a difference. I am honored on behalf of the Juniata Alumni Association to recognize Dr. Kenneth J. Van Antwerp as the recipient of the 2006 William E. Swigert Jr. Alumni Humanitarian Award. The citation reads as follows. Whereas Kenneth J. Van Antwerp, a member of the class of 1975, has provided selfless service to his profession, and whereas upon graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree from Juniata, he received a Doctor of Medicine in 1980 from the Temple University School of Medicine, and in 1983 completed his residency in family practice at Washington Hospital, and whereas he earned the distinction throughout his educational career, receiving honors such as the Jacob H. Brumbaugh Scholarship, Juniata College Honor Society, and Chief Hospital Resident. And whereas he has served as active staff at the Somerset Hospital for more than 20 years, and whereas he has been appointed to the hospital leadership roles such as President and Vice President of the medical staff, Chairman of the Department of Family Practice, and Chairman of the Pharmacy and Therapeutics Committee. And whereas he has served his local community since 1983 in office-based practice, providing both outpatient and inpatient care for newborn and nursing home. And whereas he has cared for the world community, participating and leading numerous medical missions to Haiti and providing disaster relief in Sri Lanka following the December 2004 tsunami. Now, therefore, be it resolved that his humanitarian efforts exemplify a dedication to providing medical care to his local and world community. Be it further resolved that his award is presented to him in recognition of his lifetime achievements and humanitarian efforts. It is a privilege to present Kenneth J. Van Answerp with the William E. Swigert Jr. Humanitarian Award by direction of the Alumni Council.
I don't need to give a speech after that. Actually, I've taken care of Adam since he was an infant. And considering all the immunizations and shots that I gave him through his life, it's ironic that he considers me a humanitarian. I've had the opportunity to read about some of the prior recipients of this award, and must say I'm quite humbled to be counted among them. I'm also quite pleased and proud to have much of my family here to share this moment. My big brother Craig graduated from Juniata in 1972 and went on to get his PhD in chemistry at Stanford University, and has always been an inspiration and a role model. My wife Nancy graduated from Juniata in 1974 and has always been a steadfast partner and cheerleader. And even my mother and sister are here, who graduated from that other institution about 30 miles north of here, the name of which escapes me at the moment. It was just over 30 years ago I was walking across the Juniata campus one evening. This is a true story, and I heard a voice call to me from above. I naturally inquired as to the owner of the voice, and I was told it was the Creator. Well, it turns out the voice came from the 3rd floor of Tussey Hall. And it really wasn't the Creator, but I did end up marrying the owner of that voice. And we did go on to create 3 children. I have, in fact, never heard the audible voice of the Creator. But I must tell you, it is only because of His call that I have ever done anything that might be deemed humanitarian. I think the great 1st century missionary Paul put it best in one of his letters when he said, "I am compelled by the love of Christ." Some translations substitute the word controlled or constrained. If someone does something only because he is compelled or constrained or controlled to do it, and then receives an award for the deed, it's only fitting and proper that you recognize the true source of the effort. And so I dedicate this award to the one who compelled me. Thank you very much.
The Juniata College Health Professions Alumni Appreciation Award was established in 2000 by the Health Professions Committee to recognize alumni who have made a significant contribution to the professional and personal development of Juniata students aspiring to careers in health professions. The recipient of this year's Health Professions Alumni Appreciation Award is Randy Cockle, class of 1979. Deborah Kirchhoff-Glazier, Juniata College Professor of Biology and Director of Health Professions Program, will present the award. Deb, Randy.
One thing that struck me about all these illustrious recipients is how humble they are. Randy is no exception. Last night at the dessert reception, he said, I don't think I deserve this award. I definitely beg to differ. I always tell my students that the best doctors are the ones who don't have the God complex. As exemplified by his comment last night and by his many years of selfless service both in this country and with his medical mission work abroad, it's clear to me that Randy certainly has God in his equation, but in the proper context, making you a superb role model for our students. His formal citation, which I'm about to read, lists the various reasons for why he was chosen for this year's Health Professions Alumni Appreciation Award, which parenthetically we don't give every year. I think somebody has to deserve it. His achievement is listed on our perpetual plaque, which I hope that he will have a chance, and his family and those of you who are interested, to view outside my office, which is upstairs here, to both recognize him and to inspire our future students. So, here goes. Whereas Randy L. Cockle, MD, family physician, and member of the Juniata College graduating class of 1979, has been a role model for pre-medical students during his years at Juniata and as an alumnus. And whereas he has given of his time and expertise in creatively presenting students with information about the rewards and challenges of family medicine, and whereas he has been a regular and animated participant at the college's annual Health Professions Homecoming Brunch for alumni, students, and faculty, and whereas he is a member of Juniata's Health Professions Alumni Network in order to share the experience of his practice with students and to serve as a contact for questions about medicine, and whereas he has modeled the true spirit of a world citizen while at Juniata and throughout his career by pioneering study abroad in Lille, France as a student, by cultivating opportunities for pre-health students in Brazil as an alumnus, and through his continued work with the college's Center for International Education to encourage students to take advantage of study abroad opportunities, now therefore be it resolved that this award is presented to him in recognition of his dedication to the field of family medicine, to pre-medical students, and to promoting health in the United States and abroad. Be it further resolved that his activities as a physician, mentor, and role model are greatly appreciated and will continue to exert a positive influence on the Juniata community. It is an honor and a privilege to present Randy L. Cockle with the citation of appreciation by direction of the Juniata College Health Professions Committee.
Thank you, Deb, President Keppel, students of HOSA, if they had a vote, my wife Pam, my family, and gathered alumni here today. My wife is a graduate of the class of 1980. We met here and studied chemistry together, studied each other as well. We have two sons who are Juniatians as well. Just a few weeks ago, Christopher became a Juniata alum, and he graduated in information technology, and Tyler will start his sophomore year in biochemistry this coming fall. So we knew the college then, we think we know it now, we're not sure we know everything. We also hail from the Lampeter Strasbourg High School, which is the humble place that Jill Keeney comes from. Jill Keeney is a biology professor here, head of the bio department, and she is Lampeter Strasbourg's distinguished alumni award winner for this year, so there's a connection that way as well. Actually, one of my sons has something very much in common with Mim back here, and I didn't realize it, okay? Both of my sons this year were in Those Guys, and Those Guys is the 12-man a cappella singing group that received a special citation at Convocation this year. So we provided 1/6 of that 12-person group. I was in the Juniata Barbershop Quartet, and back then we only needed 4. Now they need 12. So. But anyway, they did a concert in the fall and in the spring. And in the spring concert, they decided to dress up as various athletes representing various teams because they've received a lot of support over the years from the sports teams. They've sung the national anthem, a drop-dead version of that, which I understand was even recorded by other sports teams to play at their home games when they went back. So they decided to honor the athletic department and dress up as various athletes. Well, Tyler, unbeknownst to anybody, decided to portray the women's swim team. And so he got up there and he had a bathing cap on, I guess, and he had a robe and flip-flops, and everybody else was pretty obvious what they were. Well, about halfway through the concert, he decides to drop the robe, and there he has a swimsuit, a women's bikini suit on. So, Vin, you and our son proudly appeared at Boulder Hall in a women's bathing suit. Last night in a conversation at the Ruth Reed Bed and Breakfast, Dr. Reed, once again, in another of many conversations, reminded me what is special about Juniata. We were just discussing generally how students are these days and how they still try to nurture and mentor them along in academic and non-academic ways. This college is really special that way. And if I deserve this award, it's because I've tried to mentor and be a role model, and I had great role models for mentoring just on the Juniata staff, the faculty and the administration. was always geared toward this. We were very glad to see that it was ever thus when we came back with our sons, and that they saw the light and decided to come here as well. We were going to come here for Parents Weekend no matter where they went. But I see mentoring as a mixture of nurturing and challenging. Students in all fields of study at Juniata benefit from the fact that Juniata concerns itself not only with the academic betterment, but also the personal development of the students. In the field of medicine currently, as in any field, there are plenty of gripes and plenty of rewards. I won't regale you with the gripes because I really don't focus on them. Someone once said, that upon which we focus, we strengthen. So we can make a personal choice to focus upon the positive and strengthen the positive. That's what I've tried to do. That's what gets me through some of these troubled times in the medical field. I think we all as alumni should continue to focus on the nurturing role that this college has provided and continue to do that. I'll let the academic challenges up to the professors. I'm not up to that, but I've had several students shadow in my office and tried to sort of infect them with the pleasure of practicing medicine, tried to get them the idea of what it's like to know extended families for some 20 years of practice. I'm now caring for, and I'm sure Ken has the same experience, caring for the children of children we cared for early on. And it's quite a privilege. In fact, another member of those guys is a patient of mine that I also inflicted injections upon. He wound up coming to Juniata as well. HIPAA laws refrained me from giving his name here today, but so I would just like to say that we ought to share our idealism whenever possible. Juniata has provided that example as the professors share theirs with us. So let's continue to do that. Doing so with students creates a positive feedback loop. I think some chemistry professors taught me about that too. Positive feedback loop that can impress us, enrich us, and renew our own hope for the world. Thank you very much for listening.
Congratulations again to all the award recipients. As a housekeeping note, if you could remain up front so we can get a group photo. We'll be doing that right after this event. And I'd like to thank all of you for returning to campus again. This is a special weekend. I hope you have a great time and will come back home to Juniata often. Thanks again to everyone who's made this weekend possible. And now, I'd like you to please stand as Heidi Neff Warner, class of 1994, closes today's program.
Thank you for infecting us all with the enthusiasm to go out and make a difference, as those of you who received awards today certainly have. So let's reflect together on the place that gave us those hopes and dreams to make a difference.